Live from Clarksburg, West Virginia, the Honey in the Hills interview series in collaboration with the Mountaineer Beekeepers Association, featuring some of the brightest minds and biggest hearts in beekeeping, from folks dedicated to making a difference and making a positive impact in their community, one hive at a time. Brought to you by Nature's Image Farm. If you're interested in NUCS, packages, queens, or supplies, visit us on the web at naturesimagefarm.com. Now, on to the show. Well, we're here at the Honey in the Hills Conference in West Virginia, and really excited to have a special guest on, Mr. Andrew Connor. Andrew, thanks for joining the Nature's Image Farm podcast.
Well, thank you for having me. This is great opportunity. Good to finally sit down and talk to you.
Yeah, looking forward to learning more about some of the work that you're doing with Wicwas Press. Tell us about you, Wicwas, and what you're doing with the book industry.
Well, I am the son of Larry Connor. He's the owner and chief operating officer of Wicwas Press, which is a company specializing in books on beekeeping and bees and honeybees in particular. I'm one of the only full-time employee that we have going around to meetings and helping educate and promote the inner workings of bees and the importance of being a beekeeper and educating the public on bees. It took many years for myself to get into bees. The son of an entomologist and beekeeper, I was never one to go into bees or near bees because I had traumatic experiences being a kid, and my father being a beekeeper down in Florida, getting my diapers changed in a field of 10-frame hives down in Florida, and getting stung in places that you can't talk about in public. Just kind of shies away from wanting to be around bees. Yeah, no, not a good thing. Good childhood memory. No. So I finally got into beekeeping after going to a small club talk on beekeeping and promoting books and all. After leaving there, I called my father and said, I want to be a beekeeper. It sounds like fun. My father's jaw dropped and went, I've been only after you for some...
How many years did it take for you to see the light? And Dr. Lawrence, I'm sure, was just ecstatic.
Oh,
because now he had free labor, right?
I was 37 when I finally got the sting and got the bug and wanted to be a beekeeper. I was 37, so 11 years ago.
Wow. Well, a lot of folks know the work of Dr. Lawrence Connor. I know I have wore out cover to cover, Increase Essentials, Queen Rearing Essentials, Bee Sex Essentials. Talk to us about what you're doing in the essential lines to bring beekeeping into the forefront in the modern age.
So I'm a visual learner, and after dealing with my father in beekeeping for many, many years, I had a whole different understanding of what beekeeping and the terminology and all. And once I got into it and got a good grasp of beekeeping and going to these things and people coming up and say, do you have a picture book that deals with the vocabulary and the terms and knowing what I'm looking at out in the bee yard? I decided to take it upon myself to write a book on BeeCabulary. So in 2018, this book right here, BeeCabulary Essentials, was the book that I created, has 680 photos dealing with any terms from their anatomy, their biology, the different types of bees, because who here hasn't gotten a call about a bee coming out of the ground, and it's not a honeybee, but they're saying it's a honeybee, and it's a honeybee, and it's not. So helping educate that way, their anatomy, what's happening in their hive, their activities in the hive, like you were saying, queen rearing, splitting and NUCS, products from the hive, and then the back of the book, there's 30 pages on diseases and pests. So a new beekeeper or even an experienced beekeeper can use it as a reference.
Andrew, what excites you the most out of all of the work that you've done with BeeCabulary Essentials? What are you most excited about for folks to dig in and discover in that book?
Helping people understand that anybody can be a beekeeper. That it doesn't take a college graduate. It doesn't take my PhD like my father to be a beekeeper. That anybody can learn and do it. I've gotten a lot of people with disabilities recently getting into beekeeping,
right.
And the visuals, and using my book to understand the importance of the pictures and understanding what they're looking at. Because you can go to these talks like we're here today in West Virginia and learn about and see the photos up on the projector and everything up on the screen. But when you're out in the yard, when you see a mite on your bee going, oh my God, what is that brown spot on the bee? Do I need to do something? Is that something good, something bad? So having the visual aids, I feel, has really helped, and I really enjoy promoting that and helping that. Because,
that's awesome.
A textbook like this one, the newest edition from Dewey and Larry, is great for a textbook, but, can only do so much reading without those photos. So to me, the pictures really help.
As you look at the future, and you falling in with the Essentials line for Wicwas Press, what are you most proud of with your involvement with Wicwas Press?
To see the ongoing growth in beekeeping these days, and the importance of people still liking books. No offense to people with podcasts.
Oh, not those guys. Or YouTube channels.
And YouTube
Good
channels.
Good night. Not
I
those
can't
guys.
believe the amount of people, especially over at Hive Life, that still like getting the risk of getting a paper cut and enjoying the hard copy of a book versus just getting something offline. I mean, there was a bee culture about last month talking about Hive Life and how they don't use books.
Yeah.
I would have to disagree with that, because Hive Life, that conference, I sold more books there than I've ever done at any other conference ever. So they are educated. They just may be educated in a different way.
Well, that's an important point that you bring up. As our human brain develops and educates and we learn, there's a process for that. But I think what's interesting as we come into this era of visual learning, seeming to take a very prevalent role in the learning process for folks, there's something to be said about the visual learning through videos or audio, but when we can also, as a companion, bring in the book or text, marry those things together.
Yes.
Now we're talking about, we start with whatever foundation that we resonate with first, right? And then we can use the others as a companion to build. And then our learning opportunities just escalate in a way that they don't just with each one individually. So I would say it's not that one is better than the other, because we all learn differently.
Absolutely.
We all keep our bees differently. But what I really appreciate about what you guys do with Wicwas, and especially the Essentials line of books, is they are easy to read. They're easy to digest. I'm looking forward to digging into BeeCabulary Essentials, and I know that the apple probably hasn't fallen too far from the tree. Dr. Larry's books, for me, were really easy to read, really easy to understand. The photos were always excellent, and those were a huge part in us growing and getting a grasp on all these things.
Yes.
And so I think I'm excited to see what BeeCabulary Essentials can do for folks as they build upon whatever way they like to learn. Andrew, do you have any exciting events coming up in the future for Wicwas Press?
Yes, there is an event that I have helped create up in Kalamazoo, Michigan. It's going to be on April the 8th. So we're having 18 different vendors plus demonstrations and talks on beginning beekeeping. Dr. Larry Connor is going to do talks about queen rearing and queens. We're going to do talks about splitting. There's going to be demonstrations on plants and important plants in the greater Indiana, Ohio, Michigan area on bees and craft stuff from the hive. And it's just going to be a fun time. It's on April the 8th at the Kalamazoo Expo Center.
Where can folks sign up and register for that event?
You can sign up at the Southwest Michigan Beekeepers Expo.
And we'll drop links in below here in the comments. Andrew, thanks for spending a little bit of time with us. If folks want more information on BeeCabulary Essentials or honeybee biology, where can they learn more about Wicwas Press?
you can go to wickwaspress.com and also come to us at any of these conferences. And feel free to reach out if you have any other questions at that website.
Andrew, thanks for joining the Nature's Image Farm podcast and YouTube channel. And I'm looking forward to digging in that book and talking to you in the future on future books or collaborations you might have with Wicwas Press.
Thank you very much for having me.